It has been a dangerous weekend across roads in Denver. Police are investigating 3 deadly hit-and-run crashes. One in Westminster, where police have already made an arrest in that case. Another in Denver, where police are still looking for the driver responsible for hitting and killing a person this morning on the I-25 ramp at Spear Boulevard. And another in Aurora, where a teen died while riding a scooter last night. Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening. I'm Mark Salinger. Late this evening, Aurora police arrested a 19-year-old man accused of driving away after killing that 16-year-old in Aurora. The boy's family is absolutely shattered after his sudden death. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj joins us live. Shalima, you spoke to the teen's mother this afternoon.
I did, Mark. Now, the arrest happened within the last couple of hours. The driver is now being booked on charges of leaving the scene of a crash resulting in death, careless driving resulting in death, hit and run, and failing to report a crash to police. It's here at the intersection of East Wesley Drive and South Dunkirk Street in Aurora that police say a teenage boy was hit and killed by a driver.
16 years old, doing absolutely nothing wrong, riding home on a scooter in a designated bike lane.
Aurora PD say the driver fled.
What if it was your son? What if it was your brother? What if it was your cousin, your uncle? Because Dimitri was all of those things.
Loved ones have identified the teen as Dmitry Markovich, a boy who was kind, loved rock and roll, his family and friends.
That 16-year-old that you left on the road for dead, if he hit a squirrel on that scooter that he was on, would have cut that squirrel too of that, because he had more integrity and more love in him at the age of 16 than whoever this coward is.
APD says it happened just after 11:15 Friday night. Their preliminary investigation revealed Dimitri was on his scooter when he was hit from behind by a driver. They didn't bother to stop and check on him.
We were told there was a catastrophic head injury, but in addition to that, he had some internal bleeding.
Like they say in the, for the emergency responders, every second counts. How many minutes would he have saved? This happened at like 11:18. Instead of him getting at the hospital at 11:50, if he would have got there 11:35.
Now, police are largely crediting the tips and information they received from the public, saying that is what ultimately helped them identify a suspect vehicle and make this arrest. In studio, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Turning to the weather now, a bit of a gloomy afternoon around Denver. We saw things heat up before those showers rolled in. We're in the clear for now, and our weather impact team is tracking some hot temperatures over the next few days. Corey Reppenhagen joining us now. And Corey, we're talking about like 98, 99, 98, like it's hot.
Yeah, we'll have about 4 or maybe 5 days in the middle to upper 90s, and it's going to be lasting all week long. So really step outside right now. Super comfortable temperatures here in Denver. 72 at the 9 News studios in South Downtown Mile High City and 68 at DIA. You can see the flags blowing around out here in front of Spear and Logan, and that's because we have a few rain showers moving across the Front Range right now, and Denver's right at the bottom of this line of storms here. Not too much other than some gusty winds and a little bit of rain for a couple of us. The severe storms are moving out of state now. The bigger storms ended up being right down here in the Arkansas Valley, where we saw a couple of tornado warnings and some of that larger hail. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. We'll have a cold front roll through early tomorrow morning, and that will help likely keep the temperatures below 90. So that's a little bit of a break for us. Pretty comfortable temperatures likely for us tomorrow, and then we'll get into that heat. 95 on Monday, 98 on Tuesday. That type of stuff is going to last all the way till Friday. And Mark, that is also a very dry pattern this week.
Very hot. Corey, thank you. 2 people are in custody tonight after deputies say a driver shot a gun at another car in Jefferson County, then led them on a chase through Golden. Jeffco Sheriff's Office says the incident happened around 8 this morning when a 911 caller reported someone shooting at their car on Highway 6 near Tunnel 1. Deputies spotted the suspect's car, tried to stop it, but the driver took off, eventually heading into a neighborhood in Golden. Deputies say the suspects then entered an apartment complex where they threw items into a nearby pond. They were eventually arrested. Investigators later recovered multiple guns and ammo. Those suspects are now facing a long list of charges. A young cyclist killed in a hit and run was remembered today in Denver, just days after his funeral in his homeland of Turkey. Salih Kawash was honored with a ghost bike at the scene of that crash today. Around a dozen people gathered on Tejon Street to install it. They also heard messages from his family in Turkey for the first time. It comes as advocates continue to push for more infrastructure on that road in hopes to avoid future crashes just like this one.
Ghost bikes are much more than just a stark white painted bicycle chained to poles or signs at the scene of fatal cycling crashes. They're powerful symbols, reminders of loved ones that have been killed in preventable tragedies. And they also carry an urgent call for change.
Advocates say the city has refused to address the intersection with any sense of urgency. Plans for a protected bike lane in that area were scrapped a few years back following complaints from a local business. Now, all of this comes as charges have officially been filed against the man suspected of hitting Kawash in this case. Denver police say 28-year-old Jonathan Jerabek called in to report that he was the driver who hit him. According to court documents, Jerabek told police that he stopped at a red light on Tejon Street and drove away when it turned green. That's when he said that he felt a thud and noticed someone laying on the ground. Now, court documents show that he did not stop immediately, instead dropping off his son with his mother before then turning himself in. Police say he did not call 911 after he left the scene of the crash. Jerabek is charged with leaving the scene of a deadly accident. He's expected in court on Tuesday. In downtown Denver today, a small crowd gathered at the state capitol to protest the Trump administration. This protest was just one of many across the nation organized by the 50-51 movement. The group's name is an abbreviation for the phrase 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. This is the same group that organized the No Kings protests back in June, though today's crowd was far, far smaller than crowds that we've seen at the state capitol in previous months. Today's protests were called Raging Against the Regime. This is in response to what the group is describing as threats to democracy.